I think pricing it right is the number one issue. A lot of people think, well, I can just price it high and then drop it. You can, but you got to be very strategic in how you do that. You have to not let it sit too long. There's all the studies you look at, the longer a house sits on the market, the lower it ends up selling for. And it's just a downward sliding scale. And by pricing it right in the beginning, they actually probably could have made more money.
Hey, I'm Nate Carver, and welcome to Between Two Doors. With Between Two Doors, and our special guest today is Jessica Duncan out of Pensacola, Florida, with Better Homes and Gardens. She's a real estate agent. If you're looking for someone to get to know that you can like and trust and work with, I hope you enjoy this conversation with Jessica. Hey, Jessica, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Just another beautiful day in paradise.
Yeah, what's the temperature in Pensacola today?
Nice and warm with a little bit of humidity.
That's Pensacola for you. And those you don't know, it's the end of August, so we're about to hit this vacation season is about to end.
Yeah, school went back, so our major 100 days of summer normally ends around Labor Day. But once school starts back, it really starts to slow down, and then us locals get to enjoy the beach a whole lot more.
No more lines for anything. It's wonderful. Awesome. So tell me, what got you into real estate?
So my passion for real estate really started when I was 18. My grandmother invested some in real estate, and I just always had this passion for it. I bought my first house when I was 19, and that really started the excitement about real estate for me. Turned it into a rental property, bought another house, and just always had this desire to invest personally in real estate. And that was always part of my retirement goals. Never set out to do it for a living. It was just what I did for fun. And my degrees were in marketing and finance, and I was a business and marketing strategist, and in the corporate arena for about 14 years, and a business and marketing strategist for 12. And finally, one day I was like, you know what? I want to follow my passion. I want to do what I love. And I had been studying real estate since I was 18 years old, and came home one day and told my husband, I want to quit my job and go into real estate. And I thought he was going to tell me, you lost your mind. You spent all this money going to school and these degrees, and you have a great career and pension and 401k. Have you lost your mind? Sort of hoping he would say that. And instead he said, you should have done it 10 years ago. It's what you love.
Nice.
How can I help? So I did. I jumped off the cliff, got my license and state exam in less than 30 days, turned in my notice, and off to real estate I went November 1st, 2014.
Oh, wow. So I'm curious, do you still own that first property you bought when you were 19?
No, I do not still own it, unfortunately. I almost bought it back, though. So I sold it in 2006. During my corporate career, we sold the properties we owned here because they caused me to move away. I'm from the area, but it moved away 3 times and back 3 times. I love this area. But my corporate career would require me to move away at different times. And then when I could move back, I would. But I sold it in 2006, thinking I would never be able to live back in Pensacola if I continued down the corporate track I was going. And so I got rid of it at the height of the market. Good time. Ended up being able to move back to Pensacola 3 years later. Wish I still owned that property. And I actually went back up on the market for sale on a foreclosure, and I almost rebought it back. But I thought long and hard about it.
Yeah. I wonder what the difference in price from your initial investment to that one was. Who knows?
I can tell you. So I paid $77,500 for it. I sold it for $167,500. And then 3 years later, it was on the market as a foreclosure, still in great condition, almost the condition I sold it in, for $49,000. And
Oh
now
my
I'd
goodness.
say a year and a half
Yeah.
ago, I sold a house a couple doors down from it, in the same neighborhood that would have been a perfect comp, that we sold for about 300,000.
There you have it, folks. Real estate. You want
Hmm.
to accumulate wealth in life? Real estate. Buy real estate.
Exactly. I tell everyone, you go to work to make a living, you buy real estate to build wealth, and they're two very, very different things.
That is amazing. Now, are you still personally, are you still investing in real estate yourself?
Absolutely.
Good for you. Good for you. And with home buyers, people looking to buy homes, that's an area you know well because you've walked that journey yourself, and you'd be able to help people looking to buy investment properties as well. Also,
I do. I work with a lot of investors. I work with anyone who's interested in real estate and who will listen to me talk about it because I could talk about it all day long. But anytime I have someone interested in investing, I immediately get them, well, what's your goal? You got to figure out your strategy. There's a bunch of different strategies to have. I share my strategy, I share some other strategies and figure out what works for them. Not everyone has the same goals. So I don't think there's one size fits all. You really got to understand them and what they're trying to achieve. And there's been some people who, get involved in it and they realize they just like long-term rentals. They just can't handle owning long-term rentals. They're emotionally attached. And then there's some people who get into it and absolutely love it. I've also worked with some investors that were already investors and then come to me, and I've been able to restructure their portfolio using the same amount of cash that was put out, but increase their income. Which is pretty cool, to be able to take someone who's already an investor and help them see ways to make even more money.
I love it. So, how about your homeowners that are looking to sell their home? If in your time as a real estate agent, what are maybe one or two key pieces of information that you would find to be very helpful to someone looking to sell their home?
I think the biggest thing is, well, obviously you need to hire an agent that's going to work well with you, that you're going to communicate with. It's a, pretty in-depth process as far as the communication. And so you got to make sure it's someone that you feel is going to represent you well and guide you well through the process. I think that's probably the most important thing. But as far as just the seller, outside of finding the right agent, I think pricing it right is the number one issue. A lot of people think, well, I can just price it high and then drop it. You can, but you got to be very strategic in how you do that. You have to not let it sit too long. All the studies you look at, the longer a house sits on the market, the lower it ends up selling for. And it's just a downward sliding scale. And by pricing it right in the beginning, they actually probably could have made more money. So that's number one thing. The other thing, be very, when you walk through your house and you look at it as if you were buying it. When we live in a house for many years, we tend to overlook stuff, or that was there when I bought it, or, we don't have that critical eye. Walk through your house with a critical eye as if you were a buyer. Maybe get a friend or neighbor, say, hey, look, I need you to be very blunt and honest. And of course, your real estate agent as well. But you want to really see what the buyers see and see areas that you could improve that may not cost a lot of money. It's just little tweaks, things like that, that can really, really jazz up the place and present it in its best light.
Got it. Excellent advice. So, let me see if this has changed over the years with you, over the few years. So, what was your goal when you first became a real estate agent? Did you have like, I'm doing this and here's my why? And then I want to see if it's changed to today, what your why is today.
I don't think it has. So one of my biggest why is really how big we financially impact people's lives. We deal with the largest sale and purchases of people's lives. And, I have a degree in finance. Making good financial decisions has always been important to me. And I've always tried to help others see ways that they could buy. And so I wanted to impact people financially in a way that could benefit their lives in the future. And I don't think that's changed. When I look back and I see the pictures that people have at Christmas or Easter, or just in the summer playing in the pool with their family, that just warms my heart. I had an impact on that family's lives. And well, it may just be about them enjoying the day in their house. What I know is they made a good decision in buying, not renting. And I know I'm helping them build stable wealth for the future, for their family, and towards retirement. And that makes me really happy.
I love it. I love that you take care of your clients. I always say it, beat the drum on it. Real estate, on the financial side of it, and on the finding the right home or selling it, it's all relational. And so good for you. Tell me, outside of real estate, what is it that you love to do? If you get some time off and step outside of the world of real estate, what's that thing that you're passionate about?
So there's three things. One is my community. I love this community. It is the community that raised me. So I love to do things that make an impact in our community. I work with a lot of nonprofits. I do a lot of nonprofit work. I'm in a Mardi Gras crew that is focused on giving back to our community. So we're constantly doing fundraisers, and we created a lot of our own events that really give back to this community. So that's something I really enjoy. I love this community, and any way I can give back to it and help and make an impact, I want to do that. The other two things that I really enjoy is fishing. I love to fish, love to be on the water, period. I don't care what it's doing, but I absolutely love to fish. That is one of my biggest passions. I grew up fishing. My grandfather owned a shrimp boat. And so I used to go shrimping with him. Just absolutely love to be on the water. Saltwater, I'm not really into freshwater fishing.
I was about to ask if you had to choose.
Yeah, I actually just went fly fishing for the first time about 2 weeks ago in Colorado, which was pretty cool. But I have to say, it's not as rewarding as, reeling in a big
little fish.
Yeah. Yeah.
In freshwater, it's little fish.
Yes. And then the third thing would be just enjoying time with what I call my family. It's my friends that have become my family. I have a very, very close group of amazing people around me, and we just have a great time together laughing. And that really rejuvenates my soul. That is how, when, some people in their stress, they have to go and be secluded and just hang out the house and watch TV or whatever. That's not me. I want to be around people, like-minded people that I can laugh and have a good time with. And so my friends are very important in my life because they are my family. So family, or friends/family, fishing, and giving back to my community, or any chance I get. Those are the three things I'm focusing on. And then, of course, traveling. I love to travel, preferably some places with water.
That's funny. Being on the Gulf, everybody I know that on the Gulf, they either go somewhere else, more water, or they go to a mountain. And so, because, I think the biggest hill and the biggest elevation in Northwest Florida is the bridge.
Right.
Yeah. So,
yeah. My husband loves it in the mountains, but I'm a beach girl. So, we do visit. We just got back from Colorado. We will go a little bit to the mountains, but we have to balance it with a lot more water.
Yeah. So, okay, most recent fish you caught, because I was going to ask you if you had to choose freshwater, brackish water, or saltwater. So you're clearly saltwater.
Mm-hmm. I'll do brackish too, but
yeah, there's nice little mix there. But what's the most recent? Well, I guess it was in Colorado. Probably trout.
It was in Colorado. So we actually tried to go out snapper fishing on Sunday because snapper and trigger were open. We attempted to go out, but it was pretty rough seas. We got about 2 miles out the pass and just had to turn around, but we were determined. So I guess you could say a bait fish on the sabiki, because we even caught some bait fish, ended up, of course, letting them go. But we caught some bait fish. We were attempting to go out, but it just didn't happen. The weather was not cooperating.
I feel sorry for people that their vacation time, they're limited to a couple of days, and the weather's going to do what it's going to do. And if it's 5 foot or more swells, I'm not out there, not fishing anyway. So
no.
Do you want to plug your Mardi Gras crew?
Absolutely.
Not many people outside, they may not know about that. So I want to hear a little bit about this.
Absolutely. So I've been in Crew of SWAT since the inception of Crew of SWAT. I think it was 2015. It's an amazing Mardi Gras crew. So Mardi Gras here is huge because we're 45 minutes from the original start of Mardi Gras. A lot of people think it's New Orleans, but it's not. It was Mobile, Alabama.
Right.
So Mardi Gras here, though, it's fun and exciting. It's not as wild and crazy as New Orleans, a little bit more family friendly, I guess, but still way more. I think it's fun without having to worry about the safety. So I became a part of a Mardi Gras crew back when it started in 2015 called Crew of SWAT. And SWAT stands for Saints with Aggressive Tendencies. And what we mean by that is we're not perfect at all, but we want to be saints to our community, and we want to do it very aggressively. We don't just want to stand on the sidelines and do this one little thing. We want to jump in, make a difference, and really make an impact. And so that's the whole point of our crew. We do still participate in the parades and have all that fun during Mardi Gras Fiesta and the Christmas parade. But the rest of the year, we're focusing on our community and how we can give back. A lot of people ask us, well, why don't y'all do a ball every year? And we're like, well, we do. They're nonprofit balls. They're nonprofit fundraisers. So we don't have our own crew ball or anything like that because we're focused on doing stuff that's going to raise money for the community and make that impact. And it's so much fun. I mean, one of the things we do each year is we adopt a school. In the last couple of years, it's been Brentwood Elementary. And it's just so cool to go in there and we provide the kids come in with these huge we give them these huge bags and they walk around the whole cafeteria and just get to load up on goodies. And we get to love on them for the day and spoil them. They get everything from socks and hats and hygiene products to toys and fruit. And, there's fun stuff and then there's stuff they need. So we have a mix of that. We have Santa Claus there. We have Mrs. Claus. We had Elsa. We had some superheroes. We have a DJ. We have an ice cream party for them. Like we just come in and, love on them for the day and hope those kids know how much they are loved and appreciated and maybe give them some stuff that they can use.
That is awesome. So the schools, you're going with that elementary school for a while on the nonprofit, that's separate from the nonprofit, or is that?
So that's actually, we're not necessarily a nonprofit. We're a not-for-profit, but we work with a lot of nonprofits. That particular one is not a nonprofit. It's just a school that we found had a need and jumped in to fill it. But we do stuff with Light Up Learning, which is a local thing that helps get the brain bags to moms who've just delivered so that in our area, so the moms can learn how to develop the baby's brain in the first 3 years of life, which is important. A matter of fact, that big event at the Wahoo Stadium every year, we are a huge part of that. Matter of fact, we are the feet on the ground running the event, which is really fun. I'm trying to think what else we do. We do a lot throughout the year. We do a bread pudding bake-off, which is fun. You get to come and try all these bread puddings from amateurs, kids, professionals. And that one, this last year was to benefit Food Raising Friends. Actually, since we started that one, it's been to benefit Food Raising Friends. And that is a nonprofit started by a teacher who goes into schools and makes sure that the kids are going home with food in their backpacks for those long weekends, holidays, things like that, for those kids that only get fed when they're in school.
Oh, wow.
So there's so many nonprofits that we work with. I couldn't list them all. And then even on my team. So my team participates in it too. They love to do it. We do something called Grand Giving for Thanksgiving, where we partner with a couple different organizations in town to deliver Thanksgiving meals to grandparents raising children in poverty, which is, a group that we felt like was really being missed out on. Like there's just not a lot of talk about grandparents raising kids in poverty. And that's a huge part of our community or our country because of the opioid epidemic. And so we saw that as an opportunity where we could give back and help them out. So we get in there and cook these huge Thanksgiving meals and deliver them. It's about a 3-day long thing that we do to make sure these families have a great Thanksgiving meal and just show them they are loved. And then as on my real estate team too, one of the things we do is closing for charity. So at every single closing, we donate to a local nonprofit that keeps the money local. And how we decide what nonprofit receives the money is we let our clients pick. So we have a list of vetted local nonprofit organizations that keep the money local. It's 2 pages long. And we go over it with the clients and let them pick. And the reason why I started doing that is because no one wants to hear I sold another house, right? Like, how many times can I put that on social media? And so I was trying to find a way to use that time to benefit our local nonprofits. And so now I get to have conversations with our clients about our local nonprofits, which they end up getting donors, awareness, support. People donate items, not just money, or even volunteer for them. So it helps that nonprofit get the word out. And then we use our social media to talk about that nonprofit instead of just saying, hey, we closed another house.
Perfect. That to me is, I guess, when I started my podcast, which is fairly new, but the thing I wanted to really try to capture is not I sold another house. It's what I'm doing in the community, what you're doing in the community and what you're passionate about. I love this. So huge win right there. You got that one for me. So I'm pretty excited about that. And I just learn new and deeper things about my real estate agent partners and people, real estate agents in general, and what y'all are doing outside just selling or listing a home. And I say just, there's a lot to that. What would be your advice to someone that is looking to buy a home in the Pensacola area? Say they've never bought a home there. They come to you. What might be the key thing you tell them?
Well, I think there's a lot I tell them. So whether they're a first-time home buyer or someone who's bought and sold 10 houses, the first thing we do is a buyer strategy meeting. And some people are like, what? Let's just go look at houses. I'm like, no, we really need to get to know you and understand your goals. You know, are you going to be in this house 2 years? Are you going to be in this house 10 years? You know, where's your family going? Do you plan to expand? Are you downsizing? What are your hobbies? Where do you work? How far of a commute are you comfortable with? We really want to understand what they're looking for, what they're trying to achieve, because people buy or sell because their house doesn't fit their needs or their situations change. There's a problem, right? And so we want to find a good solution to that problem. And if we don't know the whole situation, there may be things we can't point out. If they're going to resell in 2 years, that's going to be very different conversations than someone that says, you know what, this is probably going to be the last home I buy. This is my retirement home. So we want to make sure we understand that. So our first thing is to sit down and have that conversation. It takes about 30 to 45 minutes. We understand them. We also show them, how we work and try and make sure we understand the communication style that they prefer so that we're meeting that. And then we walk through the whole process and answer all of their questions and make sure they understand, okay, so here's what a contract looks like. Here's the things that, we can negotiate in it. Here is the process. Here's when your deposits due. Here's how long of a normal inspection period we have and what an appraisal means. And we really try and educate them first before we go out and start looking at houses, because I think it takes the scariness out of buying a house. Some people, you hear people say all the time, it's so stressful. Well, it shouldn't be stressful. And when I can answer all those questions ahead of time and set them up for success, I think it removes so much of that stress. So my advice is to have a great strategy meeting with your real estate agent. Absolutely. And really make sure you're comfortable and understand what's going on.
Excellent. Jessica, if someone's looking to, or when someone's looking to buy or sell a home in the Pensacola area, what's the best way that they can get a hold of you, or how do they find you?
So you can find me just about everywhere. My phone number is 850-554-1783. That is my direct cell phone. So you can call me anytime there. But if you just Google me, JessicaLoveDuncan.com, You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, websites, but Jessica Love Duncan is my full legal name. So my middle name is Love. So if you just Google me, you can find me anywhere.
Wonderful. Thank you, Jessica. Folks, if you're looking to move to the Pensacola, Florida area and want somebody to help build you a clear strategy to home ownership or to sell a home, reach out to Jessica. This was a good conversation, Jessica. I really enjoyed learning a little bit more about what you do in Pensacola.
Absolutely. We'd love to help them. We'd love for them to reach out to us at the Jessica Duncan team, where we are known for our results and chosen for our service.
Awesome. Thank you, Jessica.